When I realized that this year Christmas was going to be on a Sunday, I thought it might be a cool idea to review a Christmas book for Sunday books. And what I decided to do was to reread Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Now, I haven't read that book in, I'm going to say, over 60 years. And I'm sure that when I first read it, I probably read it a handful of times. And certainly over the years since, I don't know how many movie adaptations and TV shows I've seen that are essentially tell the story of A Christmas Carol. But I figured, okay, let's go back to the original source of all this stuff. And I'll tell you what, I took a look at it and I had a number of reactions. The first one was when I got into the first few pages of the book, it seemed to me that Charles Dickens' personality was coming through. The first few pages read like a real normal human being talking. And in fact, maybe with a touch of wit or humor or irony or something like that. So I said to myself, this is a good idea to go back and read this. The second thing I noticed was that I think all of the adaptations that I've seen seem to me to follow the book very, very closely. You know, the different ghosts of Christmas, this, that, and the other thing, they're pretty much, it seems to me, exactly the way Charles Dickens wrote them. Also, I noticed that London comes across sort of like a character in the book. And it was hard to conceive how miserable London in the 19th century must have been. I mean, the pictures that Charles Dickens paints are really, really just awful. Well, anyway, I get through with the book and I said to myself, gee, this is overly sentimental. This is definitely not me. For Christmas time, I'm more of a, like Die Hard or a National Lampoon's Christmas Story. Yeah, Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's more up my alley. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe this thing is sort of realistic. I mean, it's no more unrealistic than Die Hard is. It's just unrealistic in a different sort of way. And I realized that A Christmas Carol is appealing to people who are like me. They really thoroughly enjoy Christmas, get fully into putting Christmas lights up on the house and things like that. And yeah, it's so overcooked, overdone a little bit, but it seems to ring familiar chords in anybody who really likes Christmas. And that probably accounts for its popularity. So yeah, it's a tearjerker, but it's you know, I'd have to say it's pretty good. And I know that Charles Dickens wrote this in a very short time. I read somewhere that it took him 6 weeks to write this book. And the reason he wrote it was because the book Martin Chuzzlewit, something else I've never read by him, was doing so poorly in terms of sales, and he really badly needed money, and he pumped this thing out in a 6-week period. And he did a good job. So I'm thinking to myself, what is it that makes this thing special apart from pulling on your heartstrings and dealing with a holiday that a lot of people really thoroughly enjoy, really get into it? And I realized that what it is Charles Dickens really, really has a way with words. I mean, he really, really does. And, you know, you think to yourself, a guy who could write a line like, this was the best of times, this was the worst of times, or it's a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known. That stuff is really memorable. And in this book, certainly, Tiny Tim's sayings, God bless us everyone, and all that kind of stuff, are really, it sticks in your mind. Anyway, I read A Christmas Carol. Probably not going to ever read it again, but I thought it was useful, and it kind of, frankly, put me in the Christmas spirit. So that's this week's Sunday Books, A Christmas Book, A Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens. See you next week with something else.